Lionel, is that you?
There, I think I got it. Okay, so, Marcus.
Lionel?
Marcus.
Lionel, is this thing on?
Yeah, we're recording this a few days after the Daytona 500. And it was exciting at the end. Your nephew wasn't in it. Rocket Rogers wasn't in this one. How many more years do we got to wait till that happens?
I don't know. He's working on engines now, so it's he's working his way in.
He's working for ECR, you said?
Uh-huh.
And what does the ECR stand for?
Earnhardt Childress Racing.
Oh,
engines.
really? Earnhardt Childress. I thought Earnhardt was a big fan of... I thought Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kelly Earnhardt, I thought they worked with Hendrick. I didn't know they'd hooked up with Richard Childress.
Yeah, it's part of Richard. It's on the Richard Childress Racing complex with the other buildings and all, so it's all part of the same group.
Okay, so on my behalf, has Benjamin, your nephew, Benjamin Rogers, a.k.a. Rocket Rogers, a.k.a. the reason he's called Rocket Rogers is because he was flipping his quarter midget over the fence.
That's right.
Which is kind of cool. And so has he made any inroads in talking to one Richard Childress about NASCAR and what have you?
I'm sure he's put a good plug in for you.
Oddly enough, I didn't hear him mention my name at all it's probably early though. It's probably a year or two.
Yeah, he's only been there a couple of months, so give it a little time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we don't want to push him into a. So tonight we're going to interview Stephen Attwell, who is the owner and proprietor of Midwest Model Railroad, right down there in downtown Independence, Missouri, and which is the home of the Harry S. Truman Presidential Library. And it is one of the coolest model train stores you could ever go to. It is kind of like the Walmart, the Costco of model railroading. And so we're going to interview him. And he's still in the green room, and I turned off the monitor and the intercom, but I'm going to ask him if I can have free shipping.
Oh, that's a good call. Hey, Lionel, by the way, your hair looks fantastic today, sir.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. I really do. And how's your hair? I can't see your hair. I wonder why. Oh, I can't see my hair either.
At least you got it.
Yeah.
I think you got more of it than I do.
That's true. It's not easy having this much hair when you're somewhere between 50 and 100. Okay, let's get Stephen in here and get to work because we've got lots of questions for him. Specifically, I want to know all about how the model railroad industry is going. I want to know what he thought of the Springfield show. And I want to know he's got a new end scale. He actually is producing cars now on his own.
He showed me that at Springfield. It looks pretty awesome.
Oh, did he?
Yep. He came by the booth, I think late Saturday.
And did you put that in an order for
well, I don't do end scale. If you'd done HO scale in my era, maybe, but nobody does that.
So you don't sell any end scale things from JL Innovative or Costello Manufacturing.
I mean, I do sell end scale stuff, but I don't buy end scale stuff normally.
Well, but maybe this could be a new endeavor for you. Is like buying Primo, the best end scale stuff out there, and selling it to your customers.
I mean, I produce Primo end scale stuff, so why would I need to buy more?
Just to expand, so that
you don't make it all.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah, and then
that's fair.
And then I can remember, like 20 years from now, we'll be having a discussion, and I could say something like, "So when did you expand into buying other manufacturers' stuff and become the premier outlet for all things model railroading.
In the middle of nowhere, Western New York.
No, you're on Highway 19, 219, just 37 feet north of the Pennsylvania border.
That's right, and only 5 miles from the Dairy Queen.
Which way?
We're north of the Dairy Queen, I guess. It's down in Brad. Wait, no, I'm sorry. It's a taco. No, what is it now?
Taco Bell is nothing like
Dairy Queen or Taco Bell. One of the two.
No, the Dairy Queen closed. I completely forgot about that. It's something else now. What is it?
The Dairy Queen in Bradford, Pennsylvania, closed?
Yeah. Give me a second. What is that now?
Are you doing prep?
I am not doing prep. I would never do prep.
Hang on here. Hang on. I'm going to see who can type fastest. Bradford, Pennsylvania. Dairy Queen, Bradford, PA. Let's see what
it's a KFC now.
Find a Dairy Queen location near you. Wow, it's only got I found a Yelp. It's permanently closed.
Yep.
Oh, geez. Wonder why.
It's a KFC now. I told you that.
I know. Okay, I heard you.
Well, you don't listen very well then.
Well, we were just we're conversing.
All right.
And it's but it only had a 2.3 Google rating. Maybe that's why.
You wonder why it got closed down permanently. Let's see. The KFC is got a 3.6 rating right now.
That's not much better.
No, it's not.
You know what? We'll get when we get Stephen in here. We'll ask him what the closest Dairy Queen is to Midwest Model Railroad.
Okay.
Do you think he's going to be annoyed when we talk about our sponsor, White Rose Hobbies?
Why would he be annoyed by that?
Because he's a Midwest Model Railroad. He's a supply house.
He's out Midwest, and White Rose is out east.
Yeah, I think that both companies try to sell worldwide, though.
They do. Yeah. They do, and I'm not sure who to isn't should it. I'm not sure who to say it shouldn't be concerned about the other, because that's I just don't know which way to go on that. So I'm just going to shut up.
Yeah, I was hoping that would happen soon.
It happens every now and then.
All right, Stephen, come on into the studio. Stephen.
Into the studio.
Stephen.
There he is.
Stephen.
No, Lionel.
Stephen.
Lionel.
Where are you physically situated right now? Are you in New York City or are you in Kansas City?
I'm in New York City.
New York. The town's so nice they named it twice.
Yeah.
And let's remind everybody that as well as owning Midwest Model Railroad, he is also a huge personality on the Great White Way, Broadway.
A huge personality seems like a stretch.
That's what we do here. We stretch. That's our modus operandi. We stretch.
Remember, accuracy is not of any concern, right?
Yeah, accuracy is of no concern here for us.
So you're temporarily in New York, or you're in New York most of the time?
Time out here. Have you ever listened to this podcast?
Apparently not.
No. I bet you Marcus knows the answer to that.
I know he's often in New York.
Yeah,
oh my God.
He works in the what's the
theater, right?
He works in theater. He permanently works in theater. He is the guy that you're not an electrician. You're a lighting guy, aren't you?
Yeah. Say we call ourselves the electrics department.
But you're really a lighting guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a lighting guy on some of the biggest shows on Broadway. He did the original Music Man with Preston. What was that guy's name? Robert Preston.
Okay, I must have missed when he's been on previously, or it was before my listening time, and I haven't got back to that one.
No,
yet.
I've heard him on here, and I knew what he did. I did not know for sure whether or not he was permanently in New York or if he maybe traveled back and forth. And
no, he has a permanent apartment in New York City, and spends the majority of his time in New York City on the Great White Way.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
What Lionel said. It's always what Lionel said.
Easier just to agree with him.
Yeah.
No, he spends the majority of his time in the Great White Way as a lighting guy for Broadway shows and single-handedly torpedoed the K-pop.
Now we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
All right.
And what did it last? 6 days or something?
Yeah, it was like a week and a half, maybe.
Oh, I do remember that now. Yeah, I have heard. Okay, I'm sorry. I do remember now. I've heard that.
Daniel, maybe you should do
It's
a little.
been a minute.
Maybe you should do
prep work.
I told you.
17 performances. I had to look it up.
17 performances. And that was a show you worked on for several months.
Yeah, yes, it was like 4 months.
And it was going to be huge. That show was going to be huge. It was going to be a massive hit. And it lasted 17 episodes or 17 showings.
Yeah, I bet you put a lot more work into it than 17 shows worth.
It was a very long and taxing process.
And why do you think it failed? Was it people just not interested in the music, or were they not interested in the whole K-pop?
I think the music was actually pretty good. The show was just terrible.
And there was no plot to it, right? It was just about K-pop.
Yeah, kind of. It like followed 3 different K-pop groups in there, like coming up. It was terrible. You couldn't even follow the story. I saw it for 3 months. Couldn't follow the story.
Oh, Jesus. And you would kind of wonder at some point, somebody would kind of raise their hand and go, this isn't making any sense to me or anybody else. And now, okay, what show are you working on now?
Jellicle Ball. It's a new version of Cats.
Jellicle Ball, a new version of Cats. Why don't you maybe just work on like things like The Music Man? Jellicle Ball. Wow. Let's see what we got about Cats. The Jellicle Ball is a critically acclaimed, reimagined ballroom culture-inspired production of the Andrew Lloyd Webber's musical, transferring to Broadway's Broadhurst Theater in spring of 2026. Is that where you are now, in the Broadhurst?
We are currently transferring it into the Broadhurst.
Okay, cool. Where was it before?
It was at the Perlman Center. It was downtown.
Oh, okay. So is it going to a better theater?
It is going to a Broadway theater instead of a downtown theater.
Okay. So is downtown referred to as off-Broadway?
No, that's a step below off-Broadway generally.
Oh, okay.
So it took 2 steps up?
It did really well in its previous incarnation, and now they're going to try to get a run on Broadway and see how it goes.
And get a run on. And how many seats in that theater?
In the Broadhurst, there's 1,100.
Okay.
1,100.
Do you think you'll be working on any versions of It's a Wonderful Life in the coming future? We may have a clearance for you.
Oh.
And he does like spotlights on him.
Yeah,
so.
and he loves the spotlight. And he works the best when everybody's concentrating on him.
There you
He does
go.
do his prep work too.
And what you can't see in the studio is that Stephen has rigged up lighting directly on Daniel so that he can perform during this podcast a little better.
Please don't.
Right.
Chris goes, please don't.
So, Steve, I did a very small community theater production this past December where we did an adaptation of the movie script of It's a Wonderful Life, and I was Clarence.
Gotcha.
And for a while, we couldn't get him out of character.
Yeah.
It was tough. I'm very method
You're suggesting
that way.
George maybe should have let him go?
Yeah, George should have let him go. Yeah, exactly. So, okay, before we go on, Stephen, I apologize for this, but we also have to plug our sponsor, which is whiterosehobbies.com. That's White Rose Hobbies in York, Pennsylvania, at 4401 Market Street, just down the road from
The Thomas Jefferson Park, camping park, is it?
the Benjamin Franklin RV
Close.
Park.
That was close.
Yeah, it was a good try.
Yeah, it was ballpark.
Kelly's not here, so
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Can't do as
Kelly.
well as he is.
Well, yeah, and
Plain
we
Kelly.
have yeah, and they sell Jelly Bellies. That's their big seller. You might want to think about stocking Jelly Bellies there, Stephen.
Yeah, we'll get one of those little candy machines to disperse Jelly Bellies per quarter.
So you're going to let them monopolize that market.
Yeah.
So anyways, yes, that's our sponsor is White Rose Hobbies. They used to be White Rose Nurseries, but they've now become White Rose Hobbies. And it just, you know what? If you ever call them up, if you ever need to buy something from them, it's because you don't have it in your own store. Just tell them ask for either Tom or Ryan, and tell them Lionel sent you.
All right.
Yeah. Because right now I'm going to try. Can I have free shipping from anything I buy from Midwest Model Railroad?
No, I don't think we do free shipping.
Yeah, I'm not asking for everybody else. I'm only asking for myself. Is that a hard no?
Yeah, you're over the border, man. That's expensive.
No, you can ship it to Florida.
Oh yeah, that's nearly over the border.
At times,
Still sounds like a hard pass.
Yeah, it sounds like a hard no to me. And while we're on the subject, I'm looking. Here's what I do, Daniel. Before the show, I'll open up the website of the guest or the company we're going to talk to. And right now, I'm looking at the Midwest Model Railroad website, and they have a 4.9 Google rating.
Yes, they do.
That is spectacular.
A lot of happy buyers.
That is spectacular. How many reviews do you think you've had?
I think
2027.
Yeah, in over 2,000.
How many was that, Chris?
2027.
Do you have are you reading that on a Facebook page or just?
No, I just clicked on the Google review in the lower right corner, and it popped up with the.
I clicked on it and nothing happened.
DFU error.
Maybe in Florida it doesn't let you click on it. They refuse to. They don't ship to Canada and they don't ship to Florida. 2 foreign countries. Well, one of the main reasons. So, how's business these days, Stephen?
Business is good. There's we stay busy. I think there's 17 employees there now.
Holy mackerel!
Yeah, it's a
busy store.
It's a busy store.
And how what's the square footage?
15,000.
And is it still primarily model railroad stuff?
Yeah. What
was the percentage of model railroad stuff to other stuff?
I would guess that model railroad is about 13,500 square feet of it.
Wow. Okay. And what other kind of stuff do you sell? I know you sell pine car stuff.
Pine car, rockets, board games, some model kits. Yeah, that's the majority of it.
And has any of puzzles? Has any of that? Any of those items, like any of those? What's the word I'm thinking of, Marcus? Any of those? What do you refer to? Any of those individual products? Have those end product types have any of those increased, or is it stayed about 1,500 square feet?
No, we sort of keep it to that space. They sort of have 6 or 8 racks worth of stuff, and that's what they get. Everything else is accounted for in scale, HO scale, and our O scale section is growing.
Or is the O scale section growing?
Yep.
Oh, cool. And how much growing is it doing?
Braden keeps adding just more and more stuff on a daily basis.
And Braden, I met him at Springfield.
Yeah, Braden's our general manager.
And he seemed like a fairly young man.
He's 24.
Wow. So how'd you find Braden?
Braden used to work at a Taco Bell and came in multiple times and asked for a job. And after a couple of times, we just said, sure. And he's been there for 4 or 5 years, 4 years now. More than that. I think he started his senior year of high school, and he's out of college already.
And being also somebody that is self-employed and has employees, I think I have about 12 or 13, something like that. Was it one of those situations where when a really good employee shows up, it's just kind of like obvious that this guy should have more responsibilities?
A couple years into it, he just started asking a lot of questions about, how the finances of the whole thing worked. And like, it was very clear he was interested in more responsibility, or at least wanted to learn about the process. He was going to school for accounting anyway. And it sort of worked out that like, oh, are you interested in doing more? Yes. And then that was a question that just continually got asked, and the answer was always yes.
Cool. And now he's the general manager of Midwest Model Railroad.
Yeah.
And do you think he's going to continue with the accounting, or do you think he enjoys running this store?
He now runs the store, and he took over all of our accounts payable, accounts receivable.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you said when I was introduced to him, you said you were okay if we interviewed him here on the old podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, well, we're going to do that then. What's Braden's last name?
Anderson.
Was that a question?
Anderson? No, I didn't know.
Yeah, Daniel's last name is Banks.
Banks, yeah.
And he lives in Anderson?
Yeah.
Anderson, yeah, there you go. That was very nice, Marcus. Very nicely done, sir.
So, okay, my age-old question, I'll ask this to you. And so business is really good. The hobby's booming, is it?
The hobby's doing great. The hobby is doing great.
And anything I think like the last time we talked, it was like 2 years ago. Has anything earth-shattering happened in the industry in the last 2 years or so?
Earth-shattering, no. It's I think there's a large section of the hobby that was very sad to see that Microtrains sold to now a property of Atlas.
And Daniel, did you get your phone?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me fix that so it doesn't happen again.
Daniel's a huge Clint Eastwood fan. That's how he got it. That's where he gets all his acting motivation from. Watching
indeed.
Watching Clint Eastwood movies, the old spaghetti westerns. Boy, I was thinking when I started this podcast, tonight I'm going to be way better at it. And it's like, nope, we're talking about Clint Eastwood. We're talking about spaghetti westerns. It's just like we're like all over the place. Okay, so the main reason I wanted to talk to you, amongst other things about the hobby, was the fact that you now are manufacturing cars.
Yeah, we've got. I'm involved in another company now that has gotten into manufacturing several things in manufacturing. We're manufacturing. We have our first car coming out. We think the delivery date's sounds like the delivery date's going to be mid-April. We do a bunch of detail stuff, and we have some line of electronics that are coming onto the market. The first one's out already.
And when you say you're involved in another company, I'm guessing that's like a company that you own.
I own it, and I am partnered with another. I'm partnered with two others on it.
Okay, two people you just knew in the industry.
One of them's from the electronics world because that's where it really all started, and then another one from the industry that was interested in really doing more.
Okay, and should we ask those names, or you would prefer not to?
I'd prefer not to.
Okay. You prefer that I didn't ask, or you'd prefer not to say?
All right, man. I could tell you names, but they don't mean anything.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, can just out of interest's sake, without naming names, but giving us a very loose overview, how would those discussions have started? Because I know you as somebody that's, I would say, very open-minded, very easy to deal with, very easy to talk to. So you guys, three guys, happened to bump into each other and said, hey, let's start manufacturing stuff, or you guys knew each other and you were getting irritated by the way things were going, or what would that general...
Sure. The electronics one was actually really easy for me. I got an email that just said, I'm a retired electrical engineer from the medical industry. I'm into RC airplanes, and I had been looking. He was looking for something and thought, man, he needed to build something for a diorama, and it was just like he looked at the model railroad stuff, thinking that we would have it not our store, just in general in the industry, and quickly realized how antiquated all of our electronics are for our industry compared to apparently RC planes is just, you have the newest thing within a year or two of it coming out, where model railroad electronics are mostly living in the 90s still. And so he reached out and said, I'd be interested in doing some stuff. Would you be interested in doing, working on some projects together?
Because he needed a front man, a distributor, blah, blah, blah.
And I needed, if I wanted to do it, I needed an electrical engineer.
Right. So what's the first electrical product you guys have coming out?
We released the Environmental Sound Pro. That one came out about a month ago now. And it's a device that you can, put anywhere on your layout. It has sounds already programmed into it, or you can add your own sounds, or it can have up to 16 sounds in it. So you can replace the pre-programmed stuff if you want to. And then, sensor inputs, or if you can have an external input control from like an Arduino or a Raspberry Pi if you wanted to really control way more than you could just as a normal user. And then a trigger, any type of contact closure, sensor, whatever. And it'll play, running water or forest noises or construction noises or whatever you choose so that your layout is alive instead of just this static piece that has trains running through it.
And often, Marcus, yes or no, back me up, don't back me up, whether or not you remember. But it seems to me it wasn't that long ago that I turned to you at some point and said, what the hobby really needs is like an environmental electronic widget where you could have sounds of like trees falling in the forest.
Yeah, we had a really lengthy discussion about that one night.
Yeah, because then you would be able to determine that if a tree fell and there was nobody around, would you hear it?
Would you hear it? Yeah, I love the idea though. That's great to have background noise that's not just locomotives idling sitting around. Yeah,
and then with the idea of like adding the sensor and whatnot, like you can trigger when people walk by, the thing starts doing a thing, or for like clubs or anything that has guests to it. I like to think so. I was at my father's layout a few months ago, and my 2-year-old nephew was there, and had there just been a button he could press, we would have listened to the chickens for hours probably, but instead he kept putting his hands all over the layout trying to grab the school bus or whatever else may be there. It's a nice way to involve people that just want, they get bored looking. They just need to, especially young ones, want to touch things.
Right. So
look at these buttons you can press.
Right. So then if you had a young one that was grabbing the HO scale school bus, you could have the sound of screaming kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very King Kong-ish. He picks the thing up and that's brilliant. I just think I just sold you a bunch of these.
So I'm sorry, did you say you have buttons that would be pushed to trigger these sounds, or do they fire automatically, or?
It's totally up to the user. There are connections to do a button contact closure. We offer a little button board that you can install if you don't want to do your own, have your own switch or whatever the case may be. Also, there's sensors also available that you could install it so that as the sensor is triggered, it'll trigger the sound. So if you wanted to put wheel flange and put a sensor under the rail when the train came over that section, you could do wheel flange sound in that area or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
Where on the Midwest Model Railroad site would we find that?
In electronics.
Okay. How do you spell electronics? No, I know how to spell electronics. What is the
electronics layout sound modules right at the top of the electronics list?
Well, I'm just at the search now. Hang on. I got to spell electronics first.
Oh, if you're in the search, just type in VMR.
Oh, VMR. VMR stands for?
It was our placeholder name for the company when, or for the electronics line when we started. It was called Vintage Model Railroad. It's since been changed.
To Jackson Railcar.
Well, Jackson Railcar is the parent brand, but our electronics line is called RailNet now.
Rail what?
RailNet.
Net, M-E-T?
N-E-T.
Any
like
TV.
basketball net. Yep.
Okay.
Like internet, reflecting the ecosystem that we're building to make all of the setup of all of these things substantially easier.
So not like Met, like as in New York Mets.
Correct.
Okay. RailNet. And
Yep.
okay, so I'm looking at the Jackson. Okay, right now it's called Jackson Railcar on your website, but you're going to change that to RailNet. Rail. It's two separate words, I'm guessing.
We put it together in one word.
Okay. RailNet is one word, and it probably will still have the same code number of VMR 1001.
Yeah.
And it is $59.99.
That is correct.
And so what's the difference? So that's the the Pro Multi-Scale. And then the the RailNet environmental sound module that is $24.99. What's the difference between
those? Are the accessories. So another thing that this can do, so that $24.99 is the sound module sync board, which can add lighting effects that react to the sound. So if you want to do a thunderstorm with lightning, or welding noises with LEDs reacting to that, like you have all the audio files on your Pro soundboard, and then you have this secondary board where you can hook up to 16 LEDs to do whatever effect it is that you might want to do, just sound reactive lighting.
And when did you release this stuff?
This came out, I think we've released it about a month ago now.
And have you had any nibbles, any bites, any sales?
Yeah, we've had a fair number of sales already.
Now this is an interesting question that Chris, you can also be involved in this discussion. Chris has turned his microphone off. We have to wait till he finds the switch and turns the switch back on. So, because right now he's on mute. Chris, where did Chris go? Now he can't even find the button to turn himself back on.
Am I back on? Right there? I swear, I was not on mute this time.
Okay.
I muted myself and then came back. So I've been sitting here saying things, and I thought you guys were just ignoring me.
Well, I've
been there before.
Yeah, I've done that myself. I think I actually did that on the last podcast. Turned it off the mic because I was coughing. Then I turned it back on, and I'm like making comments, and they're talking right over me. And I'm like, what is this? Okay, Chris. And this is a part of the discussion that you could also be involved in. So how, Stephen, how does one go about in the model railroad industry? How does one go about introducing a new piece of equipment, a new project, like something like this that's not necessarily common? What are your plans? Again, only tell me what you want to tell me. You can tell me in very loose terms. What are your plans for introducing this to the outside world?
The first and easiest one is somehow I was able to convince Midwest Model Railroad to carry our product. They made the initial announcement via their newsletter, our newsletter,
all right,
whatever. And then I feel like we're working with a few YouTubers for them to do projects with these products.
Okay, cool.
We've gotten some question about, traditional marketing routes, quote, national advertising. And I had this discussion with a distributor last week about, what is national advertising anymore for Model Railroad? Because is it publishing a thing in Model Railroader? Because, there are YouTube channels that have more subscribers than Model Railroad in the Model Railroad field. So I'm not sure how we classify what we classify as national advertising anymore.
Right. Exactly. That's, lately we've been, advertising the podcast a little bit in Railroad Model Craftsman. And while we did see some initial, bump in, people joining up, and I still think it has some significance. It's really like you say, is paper advertising, is magazine advertising still the way to go? So YouTubers, would you say that's your primary way of getting it out there is asking influential YouTubers to do something with these individual.
I do think that is going to be the path, is partnering with YouTubers and other content creators to get it in front of people.
I find this to be a fascinating discussion because I think to me, I think the hobby is going to grow like crazy. And I think these are the kind of things that's going to make it grow like crazy is people like you. One of the things I've always admired about you, Stephen, is the fact that you walk outside the line. You walk outside the beaten path. I think that's one of the reasons you're so successful. And you're always looking for how to get from point A to point B. And you're an incredibly successful businessman. So, I mean, I think this is a really interesting discussion that you're thinking that YouTubers are the way to go in the model railroad advertising field.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it kind of sticks with, I think it's kind of funny that, like, I'm a huge proponent of animation and things being, things happening. I don't like static displays. I don't like static this, that, and the other thing. And it's interesting that I'm avoiding static advertising as well.
Well, yeah, and you have always been at heart a model railroader. You love model. You like the hobby. You've always been a model railroader. You've had layouts. You enjoy the hobby, but you also really enjoy this side of the hobby of being in the industry too. Would you ever consider getting a booth at Springfield?
I think it's probably in the long-term plan. The first show that we're doing that Jackson Railcar is going to by itself is going to be Denver this year. They're going out to Rocky Mountain this year for Denver.
And so it's Jackson.
You're going to Rocky Mountain. It's Jackson Railcar or Midwest Model Railroad.
Both companies are going.
Okay.
As two separate booths.
Okay, because I knew you were out there as Midwest.
Now, when you say two separate booths, do you mean side by side?
I do believe that they managed to get them side by side.
Oh, okay. So you actually got two separate booths for each individual Midwest Model Railroad and your manufacturing side.
Yeah.
Okay. And why wouldn't you? Okay, you will know this. You'll have a good answer for this. Why wouldn't you have the two things in the same booth?
It was just about getting things on we want to, they're two separate companies. We don't want there to be confusion that one is the other. And we get them both on the map for the flow through, and then getting them side by side is great because, Midwest has taken Jackson Railcar products to shows before, but now this time they can say, have you seen these guys? And just right next to them.
Okay. Yeah. And you know what? Before the show opens, after you get your booth set up, if you want to keep people from going into your booth, put a rope across it and see if anybody see if that keeps people out of the booth.
I'll tell you, it does not.
Especially if it's Lionel.
Yeah. like I said, it just keeps the honest people honest.
Or me. I would not pay attention to them either.
Well, that's not
transparency.
That's not true, Daniel. I paid attention. I didn't want to trip up over it.
Right. Yeah, if he wasn't paying attention, he would have just walked right through it, and the whole booth would have just collapsed in on itself.
Exactly. So I was paying.
Well, I appreciate you paid attention, and you were cautious about entering my booth.
Oh yeah, I was cautious about breaking the rules. Exactly.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. I would just pay no heed to their intent.
That's fair. Okay,
hey,
so go ahead.
I like this. I'm checking this out here. I like that you have an easy to put together and use system on this. I've messed with sound from a good way back, and there's some harder to use players. I like that this has a out of the box component. Hook the wires together, and you're in business.
Yeah,
you can do the. Oh, go ahead.
Our big goal with this is, trying to make it as easy as possible for people to plus their layout. Like, I think, people who've been able to put sound on their layout for years, if they have electrical knowledge and want to try to mess with Arduinos and Raspberry Pis and, everything involves wiring. This is simply, we put a couple terminal blocks on there, plug in any speaker you want, 8 ohm or less, There's a wattage, and then plug in a switch, or that's it. We set it up to use 9 to 24 volts DC, so that is already on 99% of people's layouts. So there's no need for an extra power supply. You just run a couple feeder wires over to this device, and away you go.
Right, and that's nice. I see that you have sounds preloaded on it, but you also didn't dumb it down to where that's all it does. You can still fully upload your sound, your own sounds to it and make use of it. But I also like the Sound Module Pro, the sync board. The fact that you can add lighting and drive lighting off of your audio. It has a couple of very nice adjusters for, I'm guessing, the volume there. It's not the speed. It's probably volume
on the Pro.
Yeah,
So that's going to be the sensitivity.
Oh, the sensitivity. Okay.
So how quickly you want the lights to react to the sound. Okay.
Yeah. So it is kind of the speed there on that. So yeah, that's very nice. It all just plugs together and works. That's a nice system, sir.
Thanks.
So how do you figure out, again, not saying anything that you don't want to say, because you've been on the podcast enough times, that I'm only talking in generalities. How do you determine when you've built something brand new like this that hasn't been offered? It's a brand new company. It's a brand new product. How do you determine how many to make for your first time out?
Oh, I've got these dice on my desk that I just threw at the wall. It was 3 dice, and whatever 3 numbers, I rearranged them to make it seem fit, and that's what we ordered. Yeah, no, it was. It was a guess. We believe in the product, so we guessed. We optimistically guessed, and that's especially with something new like this. It's just straight up a guess.
And because this is something that irritates me. Like while we're recording this, it's during the Olympics, and I went to a site that had some really cool Canadian Olympic hockey stuff, and I was going to order something. They're like all out of my size, and I'm thinking, how could you guys not know that during the Olympics that Canadians are going to want to buy a crap load of Canadian Olympic hockey stuff? So, as a businessman and a guy that's when did you first open doors to a store for Midwest Model Railroad?
We opened doors to a store in 2019.
Right. So going back 7 years ago now, and you had the business before in your parents' basement, in your dad's basement.
Yep. And
so the business has been going. When was it originally established as a selling stuff online?
2011.
Okay. So you're now 15 years into this thing. 7 years, almost 8 years since you've had doors open to the public. So I'm assuming by now you understand the importance of having product available for when people want to buy it.
Yeah, that's if it's not on the shelf, you can't sell it. That's that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. So so let's move on now to Jackson Railcar, because this conversation will eventually tie into. So what we need to know, what we got to remember, is eventually this will be known as RailNet, RailNet, RailNet. Because the picture I'm looking at, it says Vintage Model Railroad on it now, but that's not going to be the final name. The name is going to, of this product, these electronic products, is going to be RailNet.
Correct.
Okay, so let's move on to the freight car that you guys have now. And so how did that come about? Because that seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems to me that somebody just kind of cold called you from China saying, hey, are you interested in building freight cars?
Yeah, so I would regularly for years get a few emails a year pretty much asking if we just wanted to make our own rail cars. And I always said no, I wasn't really interested in it. But as my day-to-day involvement at Midwest decreased with Braden coming on, I quickly found myself interested in pursuing other parts of the hobby. And a frustration that I knew that we had been having at Midwest was the lack of center beams. And I had continued to reach out to multiple of the manufacturers who have center beams in their catalog of molds and said, can we please make more of these? I'll pay for entire runs of these, like anything. And, it continued to be negative. And after frustration of that for a while, I was like, you know what? I have a little bit of extra time. I'm going to finally explore moving forward on this.
Okay, so I put in Jackson. Okay, there it is, right there. Hang on. It's working. No, it's not working. There it goes. Okay, I'm there at that page now. Okay, so then whoever this person was, this was a Chinese. It was one of the. Were there several companies that wanted you to do this, or was it just one guy, one company in particular, or one manufacturer in particular that kind of kept bugging you?
There were several that had reached out to us, and so when it was time for me when I had finally decided that I would at least explore the idea rather than continually just saying no, I reached out to several of them and ultimately decided to go with one that I felt the most comfortable having a conversation with.
And that must have been kind of scary at first, wasn't it?
It wasn't scary until they asked for money. Then it was scary.
And I think I don't think this is an insult. I think I'm going to word this next. Marcus?
Yes, sir?
If this starts sounding like an insult, just smack me in the head, okay?
Okay.
I've always seen you as somebody where I felt like one of the benefits of knowing you is I felt like it kind of gave me an inside look into what the industry is really like. And I felt like you and I were always having conversations about how, manufacturing cars was kind of a secret sauce kind of a thing. And it really seemed a lot more complicated than it was. But then you started, I remember when you got this guy cold called you, you were like, well, this isn't nearly as difficult as it's made out to be. Does that sound like something?
I feel like that's still the case. I mean, there was a lot of research involved, and there's people that helped on the research. There are drawings and there are lots of steps and there are lots of people involved to get to the point of producing the car, but none of them are, you have to do the research, you have to have somebody that's going to do the drafting. You have to, there are all of these things, but we're in a global marketplace. We're in a world where I can find draft people easily. I can do an internet search that said, I need somebody to draft a scale model for me, and I'll get 90 pages of Google saying, here, why don't you check out these things? Everything can be contract labor. Everything, it's not impossible. There is not a huge barrier of entry. There is definitely a time barrier. There was a definite consumption of my free time in order to do it, and more than my free time probably. But if you want to go down that route, there's no real secret sauce to it per se. As long as you're willing to put in the work of the research and get all the draftings right and making sure you stay true to what your plan is, then you can get there relatively easily.
Yeah, relatively easily if you're willing to put elbow grease into it, just like running any business.
Yeah.
What was I had a question that I was going to ask you. Don't tell me. I had it worded just the right way. Don't tell me. Let me guess. I wanted to say to you, now with this Jackson rail car, now is this just Stephen Attwell and Midwest Model Railroad, or do you have partners in that? Don't answer if you don't want to.
I do not have financial partners in that. It is linked to Midwest Model Railroad in the way that I own both of them. But it's
you run them
as a company on its own,
right?
It's
you own both companies, but you run them independently of each other.
Yeah, and Jackson Railcar has a whole line of detail parts and whatnot that's all 3D resin printed. And I got a guy who set up a small 200 square foot 3D print shop in Southern Missouri, and we produce all our models there, and they get shipped up to us. And go ahead.
Okay, so then this is what I was going to say before, and I think this is kind of a yes or no answer. Because I have said for years, and I take full credit or credit responsibility, however you want to look at it. Somebody will be offended by this statement, I'm sure. But I have said for years, these some of these model railroad manufacturers, some of the bigger ones, are always crying poor and how tough it is to make stuff, and people should be so appreciative that they're making stuff and stuff like that. And you strike me more as a very solid businessman who sees the opportunity to create profit through this industry. Like, is that correct?
Yes or no? Yes. Oh, yes. You wanted me to answer one of the two. Yes.
It felt like a yes or no question. It felt like, yeah.
I mean, it all comes down to, I mean, a lot of it is it a passion project for me? Yes. Am I enjoying doing it? And, yes, but I'm not going to do it to lose money.
Right. Like, you wouldn't be doing it if you ended up losing 50% more on top of what you paid for it. Like, you invested, I know, round figures. We're talking round figures now. We're talking poker chips. You invested 100,000 poker chips and all you got in return was 75,000. You wouldn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, I am still an entrepreneur at heart. So I don't think running a loss is something that I'm interested. I wouldn't pursue that as much.
So, Chris, you're in the model railroad manufacturing business, and you guys seem to be chugging along relatively well. I know you enjoy it tremendously.
Yep.
Are you on mute?
No. Can you hear me?
Well,
no, his mic's just across the room.
Yeah, your mic.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're doing that on purpose, aren't you, Chris?
I do everything just to mess with you.
Okay. So, like, where do you find the model railroad industry these days? Like, you guys have a beautiful booth at Springfield, and whatever show you go to, you guys have a spectacularly well laid out booth and stuff, and people seem to be always hanging around. So, like, where do you fall in on that? Like, I think the major manufacturers always crying poor is not necessarily the right direction to take.
I definitely agree with Stephen on that one. I mean, no model railroad manufacturer is going to be a Fortune 500 company or anything like that. But there is a level of am I making money? Am I losing money? But then am I making enough money? Or do I want to make more money? I mean, I always want to make more money. I think if it wasn't you, I told somebody, like, I could sell out every single one of these shows and I'll be upset that I didn't bring more stuff to sell. So as both Stephen and I think are very much on the same page of, we always want to make more money. But there is always that question of, am I making enough money, or do I want to, am I making enough money to make it worth it? Because, like you were saying, 100,000 poker chips, you're getting a 70,000 return. That's not worth it. But is 110 worth it? Is 150? Is it 200? Because there's also that level of, well, if I'm spending $100,000 and making $10,000 over, maybe I need to figure out what I'm doing and how to make it better. And I will say that's definitely something we've been working on since we got this company, because we're not necessarily functioning we haven't necessarily been functioning at a loss, but we definitely have been investing money in. And I know we're making things better. Like we're actually starting to get rid of our metal casting in favor of resin prints, 3D prints, just because it's more profitable and it's easier. It's, all that everything that goes into it, it becomes it becomes easier to make more money, if that makes sense.
Sure, that's what I think too. I think the way the world is going, it's going to become easier for these companies, even the small one-man cottage industries, where the guy's got a full-time job and he's doing it out of his basement. I think it's going to become easier and easier to do this. Like Wallace Locomotive Works, so it won't need to sell 4 toilets for $3.99. You can sell them for $5.99.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, okay, Stephen, now you said you're doing 3D printed parts too?
Yeah, we have a catalog of 3D printed detail parts. And then we have loads for center beams as well.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
I saw lots of those. Those are a nice variety of those.
Are those loads 3D printed?
The loads originally started as laser cut.
Okay.
And just recently, we've realized that long term is going to be filament print, because the glue that is being used in the plywood seems to differ per batch, and it's playing havoc on our laser cutter.
I maybe this isn't the right place to ask. What is it doing?
We could have literally 2 pieces of the exact same 6 mil wood back to back go through from 2 different manufacturers, and one of them will cut through the wood just fine, and the other one will just scorch and try to set fire.
Okay. I had to ask because that is pretty much exactly what I deal with, and I'm slowly getting away from the plywood because of that.
Yeah, it has not been. It's been a miserable learning process.
Yes, yes, it is. It's there's been a lot of foul words uttered in this building because of plywood,
and quite a bit of foul smell.
Yes.
But that's
not necessarily because of the
no, yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't set me up like that. Come on.
I had to say it before Lionel did.
Yeah. So we're on your website. So before we leave the center beam cars, because we want to give them, we'll be talking to you about it lots and lots anyways in the future, but they are $39.95. And if you're going to pre-order them, you want 5% down.
Yes. Yeah. We figure 5% is just enough. Like, it's low enough that it shows us that you have a commitment to actually wanting the product, and it's low enough that it generally does not, it
doesn't deter people from making pre-orders.
Yeah, I've got to wonder how some of the manufacturers can get, you pre-reserve all these locomotives and cars and then turn around and say, I don't want them. And I guess they have a way to resell them, and they do, but it seems like that's a real gamble.
Yeah, we ran into, when we initially started our pre-order system at Midwest, we had a long discussion about no deposit versus deposit, and at what level. And at one point, one of the people at the table said, well, what's preventing our competitor from just pre-ordering 100 locomotives at no deposit? And then when it comes time to pay for them, they just say, good luck. Mm-hmm. And that pretty much sealed the deal for all of us about, we hope that doesn't exist in the world, but choking down 100 locomotives at the same time is not something that we can risk on a single release.
So $39.95, 10% is like $4. So like you're asking people to put down basically $1.97 per car.
Yeah. And we waited to announce them. This isn't a year-long run, waiting for them to come in. We expect them to be in April. So they're out there. I think we put them up for pre-order 3 or 4 months ago, maybe slightly longer, but we knew we had a prototype in hand prior to letting them available for pre-order.
Okay, and then at some point you tell the factory to go ahead and make X number of cars and all that stuff.
We had a committed order with the factory prior to us announcing them to the public.
Okay.
Yeah.
This doesn't sound as much as rolling the dice. This sounds more like, because of your knowledge of the industry and what have you, this sounds more like this would be a much more calculated guess at how many cars to order.
Yeah, and it comes down to, the factory wants X number of things in the production run in order to get the price where I wanted it to be for the consumer. And so then it was all right, well, this is where I want the price to be for the consumer. This is how many I have to order to get it to that price. Is it worth it to do this? We went from there and said, all right, let's do this.
Okay. This is going to be a long-winded compliment, but I feel like I know you very well, and I consider you to be a friend, and I know Chris very, very well, and I consider him to be a friend, and I feel like you are two of the guys that I can say this to, and you won't get offended or take it the wrong way or blah, 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 because you guys are just good guys. So what are these $39.95? So what do they cost you? Like $5-6 each?
I wish they did. If they cost me $5-6, we could sell them for substantially cheaper.
My friend Chad, who owns a produce store in my hometown and a vitamin store, has half the store is produce, half the store is supplements and all kinds of things for good health. I'll pick anything off the shelf, $29.95, and I'll say, so what is this, like $2-3? And he'll go, no, it's not even that much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. And, obviously there's, and $39.95 seems like a pretty darn good price to me for a car. Marcus, you're a seasoned N scaler. Where does that fit into your mindset?
Well, in today's world, it fits right in. I mean, I still, unfortunately, I still look back to when I first started buying things, and I keep thinking, gosh, $40 is a whole lot for a freight car, and it is, but it is comparable to what all the other freight cars are selling for. So the days of the $10 car are way gone. So
they're also way more detailed than
$10 for sure.
Car, so.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, the old Atlas. Of course, the old Atlas 3-bay coal hoppers that are not detailed very well at all. That used to be able to get for $5 or $6 on a shelf. They're probably $20 now too. But these are beautiful cars, and all the cars that are coming out now, all the locomotives that are coming out now are so much more detailed, and I think it's worth it.
Yeah, we went all in on this one. We wanted to make sure that the details were right, and one of the things that I wanted to make sure was that the weight on the car was as close. Like, a problem that we have with every center beam that's ever been released is the weight doesn't get anywhere near the NMRA standard.
Yeah, that's right.
So we went through options, and our entire frame, the flat car portion of this car is entirely metal die cast.
Oh, nice.
The center beam itself and the ends are plastic, but the entire flat car is metal die cast, which differs from like the Microtrains release, where there is a metal die cast part of the flat car, but then it is wrapped in plastic. The detail parts, it's a blank that goes inside of a shell. And so we were able to get within, I think we're off by 1/10 of an ounce or something like that on the finished product.
And then with a load on it, it'll probably bring it up to weight.
Is this not a friggin' awesome discussion?
How many different varieties do you have here? I've just been.
I think there are 7 road names. Is that accurate?
Okay.
I don't have it in front of me right now.
Well, yeah, that's why I was asking, because I'm looking through, and it's at least where I'm looking, they're spread out, so I'm having issues with
I've got it here on a spreadsheet because I was filling out sales orders for people today. AOK, ATW, FURX, MWCX. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. NOKL is 5. TTZX is 6. WC is 7, and the NKCR is 8. There are 8 road names.
And how many numbers for each road name?
Six road numbers for
each of the
all
8.
of them, with the exception of TTZX, which has 12.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So that's a lot of them. You could have one heck of a train.
Yeah, that's great to see too, because there for a while some manufacturers were doing multiple road numbers so that you could build a unit train or a longer train, and that I think a lot of manufacturers seem to be getting away from that again. So
yeah,
good to
we're
see.
offering 54 road numbers on this first production run.
Nice.
Okay.
I don't know why, but when you were rhyming off all those acronyms for the different railroads, some of them sounded like almost insults.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're on. Okay, so let's just wrap this up. We're on the Midwest Model Railroad website. Do we find the 3D printed parts?
Those are in the in scale and HO scale detail sections. Because Midwest is just a carrier carrying their products, they're mixed in with all of their other stuff. But I believe if you typed in Jackson Railcar at the top of the page, you're going to get a substantial number of them.
Looks like 314.
All right, I'm typing in.
That has to do more than just the detail.
Yeah, that's got the 54 rail cars in there. That's got kits in there.
Some LEDs.
These center beams are what, about early 90s, maybe mid 90s vintage.
Mid to late 90s. They're slightly different than anything on the market currently because we decided to go with the riserless version, so the flat car is almost perfectly smooth.
Do any of these structures that I see in N scale are they available in HO scale as well?
Are you looking at the MTI structures?
It says
yes.
They are currently not available in HO scale. The designer that we've partnered with we're producing those kits for him.
Okay.
I believe is an in-scaler, but we could definitely talk to him about making the kits in HO as well.
Jackson, the traffic. Now I'm really nailing it. Going into the weeds. The traffic barrels, they appear to be painted. I'm assuming they don't come. You don't send them out painted.
We do not send them out painted. Everything gets shipped. Everything gets shipped now. We used not to, but now we've started priming everything so that it's just one step easier for the modeler at the end, where they don't have to worry about priming on the resin. It's already come in pre-primed. So if you want to stick it on your layout in primer gray, go ahead, or it makes it easy to put on a final coat of paint.
And okay, like I found the Jackson Railcar warehouse rack. It's really cool in HO scale. There's a lot of really cool stuff here. Wow, LED wire, LEDs. Wow, look at all this stuff. Now, I don't think I asked you before, but maybe I can ask you again. Can I have free shipping?
Oh, yeah, I no.
No.
So I was trying to sneak that one in there.
Yeah.
It was a good attempt. I mean, you get a 10 for attempt, just 0 for execution.
Yeah. We do our best to keep our prices as low as we can possibly go, and then the shipping is automatically figured at checkout based on size and weight of items in the cart.
And is shipping becoming a problem because of the price of the carriers? I mean, shipping has gone up dramatically, hasn't it?
The postage is where that is all come. Yeah, the cost of the label with the carriers is 95% of shipping costs anymore. We tag on a little bit to cover the cost of the box that we're going to put it in and the label that goes on it, but it's returning the postage cost to you. And Braden and I just got done with meetings over 3 weeks with UPS trying to negotiate our rates, and have managed to, after 3 weeks, managed to improve our rates by, a percentage point or 2 percentage points, like that, just enough to make it worthwhile to do the meetings and follow through with it. But they keep raising their rates overall, UPS, USPS, all of them. So we're just trying to, we do what we can to make sure that we try to keep them lower by, doing our due diligence and making sure that we're negotiating with the carriers to keep our rates as low as they'll possibly let us have them.
And what's your shipper of choice? Do you have one that you prefer, or?
We very, very much prefer UPS. USPS and UPS are very, very close in rates, but UPS, their delivery is 99.9999% of the time on time, and then USPS, it's still a mess. It's a
crapshoot.
Yeah, we'll hand off a cart full of packages, and it may get scanned in Kansas City a day from now. It may never get scanned in Kansas City and just show up marked as delivered. And the way their system works, it may just show up in a week when someone finally scans it as delivered, and it's like, oh, well, it never got scanned along the way, but it's delivered now. Like the customer end of UPS shipping versus USPS shipping, it's just night and day. And
okay. So it kind of seems like USPS doesn't really give a crap.
Yeah, that is seems to be the case anymore.
What a great podcast this was. Well, man, I had forgotten how much fun it was to talk to you on the podcast. So much, man, I always have taken my hat off to you. You're just like, we've always hit it off and we've always had fun talking to each other, but man, oh man, it's just, I am like blown away, impressed with what you have accomplished in this hobby. And every time I hear some major manufacturer crying the blues about not making any money, I'm thinking, well, then maybe you're not doing it right. Cause I know a guy that continues to grow and grow and grow and grow and checking out each avenue. I mean, we had this most bizarre conversation with, one of our folks, Roger, and he had ordered from Rapido some passenger cars that were, I don't know, $49.95. And after some time, they eventually shipped them, but they doubled the price and saying it was a surcharge and a this and a that. And they wanted with shipping, $220 some odd. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably not going to work very well.
Yeah. I mean, it's, things continue to change, and
yeah, that's another whole discussion.
Tariffs were not an enjoyable part of the hobby or part of the industry for the last 9 months or whatever it's been. But it is the world we live in now, and we just have to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah. And I'm assuming you as the manufacturer understands that you can't just pass it all on to the consumer, because eventually the consumer will just say, well, no, never mind, I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah.
So you got to figure out, you as the manufacturer needs to figure out how to, I mean, I in my industry, I always felt like it's my responsibility to understand the customer's needs. That's what he hires me for. He or she hires me for. So it's like, it's the same thing. Like in your particular industry, people want to buy your product and they're not interested. They're not interested in your financial woes or your woes of dealing with UPS or shipping, not UPS, but shipping in general. They're just not interested in your problems. All they're interested in is getting the final product.
Yeah. And it's like, I have this conversation with the electrical engineer I work with all the time. He's from the medical industry. He worked for, I think at one point he said pretty much if I've ever had my blood tested, it probably ran through a machine that he partially worked on. And like he and I have continued conversations of he wants to add something to a device. And I'm just like, all right, well, that's an extra $3 part. Like what does that $3 part mean to the consumer? Like, show me if we're adding a $3 part, we can't sell it for additional $3. That $3 part, we add 50% tariff, it's $4.50, and then you add on some profit to whoever, depending on your distribution chain. That $3 part could add $5 to $10 to it or more, like whatever the case may be. Is this indicator worth an extra $4 to the consumer? No. He and I continually have conversations about he think, well, this would be really cool. And I'm like, yeah, but the consumer doesn't need it. So do we really need to add $5 for something that the consumer, maybe sees once on a setup and then never sees again? No, we don't really need to do that.
I have two cars that are absolutely, not completely identical, but they're two cars that my wife's car and my car, they're identical. They're 4 years old. They came loaded with electronic gadgets, and I'm 4 years into it, and I still don't understand half of what the car does.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, there's no point in making it if people can't work it. What did you think, Marcus? I think this was a fantastic podcast.
I think so too, because I saw some products that I'm going to be looking forward to picking up here pretty soon. So you get some of those center beams.
Hang on a minute, Marcus.
I think the last 3 podcasts we've recorded have cost me money.
You're right, but I'm thinking that if you get me to order them, there's an outside chance that I might get free shipping.
It's a very outside chance, I would say.
I will ship it. Here's what I'll do, Lionel.
What?
If you pull the car up in front of the building, we'll load it into the trunk for you.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I think there's more chance of you finishing that last lap of the Daytona 500.
There you go. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you another question. All right, you know what? We're going to end this podcast, and then we're gonna just record a segment that I think is a really interesting question. So, Marcus, can you give out our email address?
Yes, if you'd like to reach us by email, you can do so by emailing us at modellerslife@gmail.com. That is modelers with 1 L, like Jackson Rail Car, not 2 L's like Midwest Model Railroad.
Sweet. Now, Kelly, are you paying attention? I know he's
had
listening.
It easy on that one.
Yeah,
I really did.
Well, Kelly will be sweet. Well, I wasn't working. I know, Kelly. Just anything, buddy. Just we love you, Kelly. You know that. We love you. Isn't that right, Chris? We love him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You not so much.
I miss him terribly.
Yeah, you not so much, but Kelly we love.
Hey, that's fine.
Yeah.
He's used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody loves me.
Yeah. Costello Manufacturing right there in downtown
Limestone,
New York, 37 feet from the Pennsylvania state line.
37 and a half.
37 and a half feet from the Pennsylvania state line.
They moved the line?
Exactly.
Yes.
I moved my chair.
A Midwest Model Railroad, a fantastic model railroad store, and our sponsor, Right Rose Hobbies, right there in York, Pennsylvania, at 4401 Market Street, just down the road from
a KFC. I don't know.
No.
What's it down the road from?
The Ben Franklin RV Park.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I was going to say Thomas Jefferson again. Man, I messed that up. So, I'll get it. I'll get it eventually.
All right. Okay. And if you miss the email address, you can go to our website, amodellerslife.com, and just hit the widget where you can automatically send an email. And if you like this podcast and you'd like twice as much podcasting every week, you can join our Patreon channel for just a few cents a day. And if you move up to the T-shirt level, then you're entered into the contest that is sweeping the nation. Hey, dude, where's my shirt? I think we've covered everything, have we not?
Got it all, I think.
All right.
I think so.
Stephen, are you ready to take us out of here?
I'm ready to take us out of here.
All right. So remember, a Modeler's Life podcast is considered marginally adequate by 6 out of 10.
Oh, damn it. I really wanted to say manufacturers. I shouldn't. Let's try this again. Sorry.
Seemed like such a good idea at the time.
It did. Yeah.
Okay. So remember, a Modeler's Life podcast is considered marginally adequate by 6 out of 10
campers at the Thomas Jefferson.
Transportation for AML guests provided by Diamond Limousine. Diamond Limousine, where all of our vehicles are true diamonds in the rough.
It's another Lincoln Homer.
which probably is just down the street in another town from the Ben Franklin RV park.